Hey all, welcome to another wonderful painting tutorial on Tint Taste Tour. In this episode, I'll walk you through the step-by-step process of making this wonderful beachside lighthouse watercolor painting. I have linked all the material required for this painting in the description box below. To achieve the best results with watercolors, I'll be sharing useful tips and tricks throughout this video. So stay tuned till the end. And yes, if you haven't yet subscribed to Tint Taste Tour, please do subscribe and support the channel. Also, follow me on Instagram for amazing artwork updates. Once the sketch is ready, we are going to use a masking tape exactly at the center of the paper to have a clear distinction between the sky and the sea. And then using the wet on wet technique, we are going to apply some sky blue color, a wash of this color, so it should be the lightest shade. Do not add the sky blue wash in the area where there would be other colors used. In these white patches, in some places we are going to add some yellow and red or pinkish hues to give it a sense of the colorful sky that we see during sunset and sunrise. A very important thing to remember in case of watercolors is that they behave very different than that of acrylic colors. So if you want any area on the paper to be white, then it would be the white shade of the paper itself, and you should not color it with any of the paint from the palette. Here I have applied color in a diagonal direction to make it look more like rays, and then I am using a darker shade of blue, mixed ultramarine blue color with a little black, or you can also use Payne's grey color for the clouds. The top right corner should look like there are some rays, so the top part or the corner part would be a little broader and it would become narrow as it comes towards the darker clouds below. Now in some places, if you add a shade which you don't want it to be there, or if you draw a thick line of that shade in that place and you want to lighten it a bit, then you can brush some water and add a little finer details using water itself. And if it's excess paint there, you can also tap it with the help of a tissue paper to lighten that area. You can use the same technique to also give the effect of clouds. Similarly, I've added some clouds, as you can see, on the left top corner as well. Now, as an activity during sunset or sunrise, whenever it's a little cloudy, go and look at the sky. The clouds are quite dark, and from behind that the rays of the sun scatter into pinkish, orangish and yellowish shades, and they peek through that clouds, and that's what we are also trying to draw here or paint here. This darker tone of color is not yet giving the effect of clouds because it's almost equally scattered. So what we'll do is we'll add a little darker tone of the same color using less water, and make sure you merge it with the color below so you get that effect and it doesn't just look like a dark line. Once you're happy with the way these clouds look, we'll go ahead and draw the mountains. And these mountains are at a very far off distance, so they would be really teeny tiny, and we'll be giving the shade of purple plus a little brown for the mountains. Now for the sea, using the same wet on wet technique, I'm going to give a very light shade of blue color. I'm using the cobalt blue here. This light blue color would act as a highlight for the sea, so we are going to add more darker tones on top of this color, and this light tone should peek through it. For the waves, the color I'm using is Payne's grey color. Instead, you can also mix a little bit of ultramarine blue with black and use that shade for making the waves. It might seem a little difficult to paint water or even waves in the sea, but let me assure you that it's really very easy. I'll break down this step-by-step process for making the waves here. So waves or ripples we see are very similar to the shape of mountains. Basically draw random sized lot of mountain like shapes which are either small in size, which might be a little narrow or a little rounded in shape in some places. And to make it easy, start with a smaller area and then progress slowly. The mountain-like shapes in blue should not just look like dark outlines. So just below it, you can give a lighter shade of the same color in order to merge with the lightest wash we had given in the first place. For the topmost part of the lighthouse, which is the lantern room, I am using crimson color. Now for the bottom part where there is grass and rocks, I am giving a wash of green color for the grass and a mix of brown and grey color for the rocks. So wherever I say I am giving wash, it means that I am mixing a lot of water with just a little color, and that would be the lightest shade of that color on paper. Now there would be some places where there would be shadow, and in some places due to light the color would be bright. So for the bright shade I am just keeping the crimson color as it is, and for the darker shade I am going to mix a little black with this crimson shade. Another very important point to remember in case of watercolors is that they are not opaque. So what does this mean for us when we are painting? It means that, for example, if we want the desired shade to be yellow, and if we apply this yellow color on top of a blue color which is already dry, even then these colors would sort of mix together, or they would be see-through, and you won't get the exact yellow shade you want. Instead you would get a little greenish shade. The lighthouse itself won't be pure white, so we are going to make it a little off-white, and also in some places it would have a little grayish shade due to shadow falling, and in some places a little hint of blue because there's water around and there would be reflection. So accordingly we are just going to add in the shades of white mixed with a little hint of black, and in some places mixed with a little hint of blue. To achieve the best results when using watercolors, another very important point to remember is that always start off with the lightest shade and then build up on that with the darker shades. The brown color you see here is for the stairs to give that rusty look, and I am using black color here to add depth and shadows to it. For the rocks, I am using a darker tone of grey here. It's still a wash, but it's a little dark compared to the first wash that we gave. And we are just making some random strokes and making sure that the lighter shade is also visible in some places, which is the first wash that we gave. To give it a more patchy look, add some extra color on the paper for the rocks and then dab it with tissue paper. Once you are done with the patchy look of the darker color, we'll add in finer details for the rocks, and for this I'm using black color and just giving some random strokes or lines, and these lines are more like branches which we draw for a tree as well. And as you know, rocks have a lot of uneven surfaces and they also have cracks, and to have that effect here we are just drawing these branches randomly. When two rocks are sitting beside each other, the gap in between would be very dark due to the shadow falling, and that we are going to do using the darkest tone of black color, and slowly you'll see that the picture is coming to life. For the grass, I am using 2 to 3 tones of color, starting with the lightest shade of green, then a vermilion hue which would be a darker green color, and then brown for the dried grass. Once you are almost done painting the entire landscape, we'll start adding finer details, adding some darker tones to the lighthouse to make it look old. Also add some dark tones of the same color for the sea, and the waves at the far end of the sea would look more like a straight line, so we'll add those finer details here. To fine tune the painting and to make the job easier, I'm using color pencils to add fine details. In order to add highlights, I'm going to use a white gel pen. It works like magic, so wherever you have color and you want white color to pop on it, then you can use the gel pen in those places. And for the final touch, we are just going to add a few strokes of white just on top of the waves, both the mountain-like shapes and the straight lines, so it gives a feel of reflection of light falling on water. Do let me know in comments what do you think about this painting tutorial, and also give it a big fat thumbs up. See you next time with another fun painting tutorial. Thanks for watching.